There we go. We're recording.
All right. Well, welcome to Tuesday, first Tuesday of the month's Heat Call. And I'm Aleta Spire, a National Marketing Director on this team. We have lots of leaders on this team. And so tonight we have a very special guest. Some of you know him very well. Some of you know him indirectly and haven't met him yet. We all connect every single Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We have a guest speaker usually, and Chris is our guest speaker tonight. And then some of us go off to calls at 6:30. So we want to get this thing started. So I want to introduce you to an amazing guy. He's like a brother to me. We fight, we laugh, we cry together. I'm getting some feedback, so I'm not quite sure. I just wanted to, it's so funny. I guess I was in the right place at the right time because I was at home and I just gone through my divorce, and I had a phone call, and it was, I remember it really clearly. I was crazy. I was running a school. I was teaching aerobics. I was just running around doing all kinds of things, trying to make $15 or $20 an hour. And I got a phone call, and it happened to be Chris Cotton. And he said, "Hey, how's it going? How's your business doing?" And I absolutely did not have a clue who he was. I didn't understand what he meant by a business because I had 3 of them going. And so what happened, I had signed up as a rep because my sister told me to sign up as a rep and get your product. So I had been doing that for almost 12 years. And so when Chris said that, he said, "Hey, we have a guest speaker in town. I'd like to have you come and meet her and come and listen." I'm like, okay. But he was nice. He was approachable. He was charming and very easy to talk to. He wasn't pressured. He was doing really good customer care. And so that is my very first experience at meeting Chris Cotton. It was on the phone. And that year I went to a conference and brought a couple people with me. And the rest is history. I'm a national marketing director today. But I wanted to introduce Chris as probably the guy that makes Juice Plus business look the easiest. And maybe because his wife is such a hard worker. Maybe it's because Nick is such a hard worker. But you know what, Chris, I got to say, you're always there. You're always there for us. You're always there when we need you. And if we have a series of 5 calls and we send you an email, you're always there. And so I really beckon all of you to ask him for help. But Chris and his wife, Nikki, experienced a very distinguished 100 Club, that means they have 100 qualifiers underneath them that they get paid for. They have many, many more than that. But they're so generous with the one team, one mission attitude. They share and they gift their expertise and their training with so many people all over our Juice Plus community. And Chris has also been a great help also to me and to many others. When you just have a guy that you want to meet with another guy, or just something that, will say that, that there's men also in our business. And so I really have appreciated that. They also run a nonprofit called Earth Teach. They are avid. They have their homes are in Ashland, Oregon, which doesn't happen to be so far from my family. And that's in the summer. And in the winter, they're really happy to live in Carpinteria, which is near Santa Barbara. So they just have big, big, generous hearts, and I'm so grateful that they are our upline. And I want to take it away to Chris. And tonight we're going to talk about a few subjects. And the main subject is how do we get our people to conferences? Conference is always the big Super Bowl of our business. And so why is the big picture of like the conference, Chris, why is that supposedly supposed to be the event that everybody should go to?
Yeah, great. Well, thank you for the introduction, Aleta. 25 years in the business. So we've been to well over 50 conferences. And people say, so why is it so important? Well, it first of all gives you vision. It lets you know what's possible with this company. And I really believe, and I think there's a lot of people on the phone that would confirm this, they don't really get it until they get to a conference. And then, actually it makes me emotional. Then they kind of go, oh, now I get it. And so first is vision. Second is belief. And it's important to know who is this company behind this? Who is this successful 46-year-old company that's brought over the last 46 years 4 out of 5 products to the marketplace that have become number 1 in the world? And so who are these guys? So you get belief in the company, you get belief in the industry, and it really kind of takes away excuses, because you'll see people in all walks of life that are very successful in our business. And you can usually come away with, there's a few people that walk the stage as a national marketing director, and you're apt to go, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. And truly, there's no excuses, because anybody can do this. And third is the belief in the industry, and of course the product and all the training that you get. But I think the number one reason that it is we call it the Super Bowl of events. We have 3 ways to make money. We share our business story, share our product story, and build for events. Well, this is the Super Bowl of events. And I think that in summary of answering that question, Aleta, is that nobody's ever made it to the top, ever, without going to conferences. And sort of an underlying part of that is so many times, because, as a national marketing director, you get a few minutes on stage. You used to be 5 minutes of fame. Now it might be 2 or 3, because we're getting a lot more crossing the stage. But every time we hear 50% of the people that walk the stage as a national marketing director, our top position, say, I was a distributor, I didn't have any goals, my sponsor forced me to come to conference, and when I got to conference, I saw the vision. And that was a year ago, or that was 2 years ago. Once I got the vision, national marketing director, here I come, having that goal. So again, I think in summary, the biggest point is, if you want to get to the top, if that's your goal, national marketing director and all the benefits that come with that, then you need to come to conference.
It's so exciting to have our uplines at conference with us, because often, not only does Nikki say, when you're in the restroom, ask people, how did you get introduced to the business? So we have so many opportunities to learn, even when you're not sitting and listening. However, sitting and listening is pretty awesome. And Chris, often you will take somebody. I know, Michelle, you got Bear Grylls to meet her son, and that was a highlight of his life. So having a national marketing director in your back pocket, going to conference, is really a highlight, and for so many of us. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So with you going to a conference after 25 years, 50 conferences, that's a long time. Would there be any legitimate reasons why somebody wouldn't be coming to conference?
Yes, we're excited to tell you that we have one excuse you can use, and that is death in the immediate body. No, I'm joking. We used to say that. But seriously, if you want to change your income level and or impact more people, if your mission is to impact as many people as possible, or maybe to take care of your family in the best way financially, or whatever combination of that is, then you really need to be there. And yes, there are some times that things come up. Carol Ann and I were doing a 3-way the other day. We had a distributor who's purchased his ticket. He's ready to come to conference, and then his brother schedules a wedding. So he felt he needed to be there. I want to be clear. Sometimes there are family reasons and other reasons that you just can't make it, okay? It's not the top priority in your life. But if the top priority is to change either the financial picture or how many people you impact, then you've got to make it a priority. For instance, it's my daughter's birthday is not a legitimate excuse. We have our youngest daughter. We never celebrated her birthday on her birthday for probably 8 or 10 years in a row, because it was either a conference or a Winterfest time. But again, it's the value that you get, and there's just other things that could come up, but be clear. You are setting your business back 6 months every time you miss a conference. And sometimes if people are on the bubble, and I know we're going to talk about that later, not attending a conference can take you right out of the business. It can be that big of a deal. So, and Aleta, I think I need to make it clear, I'm talking about people that want to change their financial position or want to impact more lives. And not everybody joins the business for that. Some people join the business just to be around positive people. Now, I got to tell you, you'll never be around more positive people in one place than you will at conference. But if you're not either financially or mission driven, then, maybe you don't need to come. And again, if that is your goal, to affect as many lives as possible or to totally change your financial picture, you cannot afford not to be there. And here's the thing that you never hear. Two national marketing directors talking, and one says to the other, are you going to be going to the next conference? Never happens. Leadership is always there. And if it's your intention to be a leader, if you've been around this a while, that your organization is not going to do what you say. They're going to do what you do. So you need to be at conference. So
that's great, Chris. I really appreciate that, because often I'll have opportunities to not go. It's considering I'm having 3 grandbabies due in the next 2 months, 3 months. But, my kids understand it, and they're even more thrilled that I could leave conference and come and spend a whole week with them. So I really enjoy the fact that I'm able to do that, and the impact that I can make on their lives, even after, missing a birthday or something. They don't remember me missing one birthday or one game, right?
Right.
So I know that number 4, we talked about some other things too. There are some distributors that maybe have to work, or they have children. And now I have offered, how can we make this happen? What is it that you need? And I know when I was traveling a lot, this is before I joined the business, I would also often dole out my 6 kids. And it was really fun because the kids all got special attention from that family. Yeah. And then when they came back together, they were much kinder to each other. So I always like to ask my reps, and some of you on this call might have that also, is what can I do to help? What can I do to help you make this happen? So what would your answer be, Chris, if you have a mom who, say her boss is not going to even entertain her taking off? I know it's pretty early, but that would be one example.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to do this call in early August instead of waiting till September until it might be too late. The main thing is you've got a couple of really what I call excuses. I can't find babysitters for my kids, or boss won't let me, take one extra day, because really you can get there Thursday night if you have to and miss a day of work on Friday. And again, it's where do you want to take this? What's the level that you want to see happen and the value you're going to put on the conference? And I think the best answer for that is for things to change, you got to change. So if you're saying, no, I can't make conference because of my job this year, what's going to change next year? And so I encourage people to step out and be bold with their boss, however that takes, and give them enough lead time. Again, that's why we're doing the call now. Or trade with somebody, do whatever they need to do, move mountains to get there. It's that important. And so again, you want to start early and make sure it happens. Because again, if people say, well, I can't afford to lose my job, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Well, what's going to change in the next 6 months if you don't come to conference and make things change? And so, again, I saw that earlier today. If you don't like where you are, change it. If you don't like where you live, increase your income and change it. If your job pays you well enough to live, but it's not meaningful, it's not purposeful, you're not changing lives, come to conference and get better at this business so you can affect more lives. And while I'm on that roll, I want to say, when you reach out and talk to somebody, you've heard my definition of residual income is the fact that you have the capacity to be paid for the rest of your life on your next conversation. There's another way to look at that, not financially. You have the capacity to affect somebody's life with the next conversation. You've heard us say, whose angel are you going to be next? But it's way bigger than that, because if that person has a great response and gets excited and goes out and shares the message, that next conversation may change 10,000 lives. So it all comes from showing up at conference and being the carrier of the message. You've heard us say it's not what you say to people so much as how you feel about what you say. Well, you pick up that confidence and that feeling, that emotion by coming to conference. So no excuses.
I've had several people come to conference who weren't in our business, and they left empowered, they left confident, they left they left a better spouse. They left themselves a better daughter. I mean, the personal development piece and also the people you meet and the stories you hear, you can't put a price tag on some of that really impacts you for a long, long time.
Right.
So I totally agree with you on those at the attitudes of that. And there's also those great times where you have the airfares are a little cheaper. You know, it's time to capitalize when the airfares are low. And getting those free conference tickets by doing your 2,000 plus. You know, I always tell people when they first join the business, they're so excited. It's the best time to tell them, put it in the back of your head. I often hear reps say, I don't want to tell them too much. I don't want to overwhelm them. That is the most excited they'll ever be.
Right.
Is right then when they're signing their application. And so when you tell them, hey, we got this awesome international conference. I want you to be there with me. Just put it in your calendar and see if you can make it. They always say, oh, okay, I'm going to put it right down right now.
Yeah.
You know? So I really like that. And so why do you think that some distributors say they want to do this business, they really want it, they want to do it, but they can't seem to commit to coming to conference? They just can't seem to commit.
Right.
What do you think that is?
Well, Aleta, first of all, I want to acknowledge you for just talking about what you just mentioned, that you have been the master of signing people up and getting them to conference in the next week or two, especially, of course, Phoenix. But, yeah, I love that you've always done that. You're talking a week or two out at every conference, just got a new distributor, they're coming to conference. So good job on that. If people or can't really commit to coming to conference, it's because they haven't really committed, even though they think they have, to doing this business. They're doing what we call the in and out dance. I'm in early in the month. By the end of the month, I'm not so in, whatever it might be. I'm in when I just got a new customer and a new distributor. I'm all excited. But when I have somebody cancel, I'm out. So I just encourage you all, kind of get past that. Just get a long-time commitment that you are going to go out and change lives, including your own, and do whatever it takes. And one of the things is it's going to take coming to conference. Your why is in place, and this is what works. And before we go, and I know we're running out of time, I also wanted to talk about the most often excuse you will hear is, I can't afford it. Never a legitimate excuse. Never, ever legitimate. Because if you can't afford to be there, you can't afford not to be there. And I've said that for years, and not everybody gets it. So I've started saying it a different way. Not coming to conference, and we have a lot of experience with this, could potentially be, and probably will be, the biggest financial mistake you'll make this year. Now, again, going back to the in and out dance, if you're not committed, if you don't see this as a long-time program for you, or a long-time benefit of changing lives and creating income, then don't worry about it. But if that is your goal, or if that fits into your goal, then you need to come to conference. And I know that if you come to conference, pay attention, and go to work when you get home, whatever you spend coming to conference, you'll either make back in the next 90 days, or remember that's the residual part. You'll have those distributors in place that will pay for you. Conference is never an expense. It's always an investment that pays.
Great training. And just, this is one that we're going to have to keep in the archive so we can pass it along.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just really appreciate you being on the call tonight, Chris. I know I had to take you away from your stand-up paddling.
Right.
But
I'll still go on.
We have a couple, like 1 minute. If anybody has a burning question, give Chris a stumbling question. Like, what if they say this? Is there anybody on the call tonight? There's 27 of us that you would like to maybe ask Chris What if they say this? What do I say in that situation? Maybe Chris will have a great answer for you.
And I think you'll have to unmute yourself to do that.
In the bottom left-hand corner of your screen.
Bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Any questions?
Hey, it's Michelle. I have a question. I always have questions.
I appreciate that.
So how would you approach someone, let's say they're coming on fairly recently as a distributor, how would you get them to see the vision of what comfort is? What's a great way to talk to a new person who really doesn't have an idea of what that would be?
Well, I would do the same thing we did with you, Michelle, when you were getting started, right? Aleta got you on the phone with me, correct? So that's
very true.
Yes, so that's exactly what to do. Get a third party, number one, because remember, if you have a new distributor, they could feel a little bit pressured, but if you put them on a third party with your upline, myself, Nikki, Aleta, and we ask them, then that takes the pressure off of you as the new sponsor. And the first thing we're going to ask them is, hey, welcome to the team, welcome to the company, you're going to love it. Why are you doing this? And so we're going to get to their why. And then we're going to ask them, how soon would you like to see that happen? And what are you willing to do to get there? And then we're going to tell them the truth. This is the thing about inviting people to conference. It's the absolute truth that they need to be there. We're not hyping that. We're not making that up. It's the best thing for them as a new distributor. So it's easy for us to say, I'm going to share my experience. This is what I would do if I were you. With your intentions and your goals, this is where you need to be. And again, of course, that third party is going to be the most important part.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question.
Great answer.
Thank you.
Well,
All right.
I want to thank all of you guys for joining us tonight. Nikki and Chris, thank you again.
Another question.
Okay, we have another question here.
Yeah, hi, Kristen. This is Terry.
Hey, Terry?
I have a question about, and I've heard kind of two sides of the story. Would you ever offer to help someone financially to get their conference?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the flat answer is yes, I would. But I would be very specific, particular about that. In other words, you'd have to have some really great things lined up in regards to what you think that person can do. The rule of thumb is only do what's duplicatable. And the truth is that not every distributor can afford to pay for somebody's ticket. Now, you know, that ranges. For instance, you know, where you are, Terry, if the conference is in Phoenix, it's just the ticket for the conference because you don't have to pay for an airplane and you don't have to pay for a hotel. But there will be some times where you're thinking, if this person comes to conference and gets the vision, it's going to be Katie bar the door. And, you know, your best people, you spend more time getting them into the business. And once they go, and you're out of the picture. And that's fantastic. So some of those times, Terry, yeah, you'll decide this is going to be worth it. I'm willing to. And often we split it, or we offer, and as Aleta said, what can we do to help you get there? Would a couple $100, would a plane ticket help you? Or I've had people, I just said, you know what, if you'll come, it'll be my treat, and I'd love to have you experience what we experience.
And have that a great way to do that if you're not sure about the person is have a conversation with Aleta, myself, or Chris and describe the situation so that before you put the offer out there, you can have some heads think it through with you.
Yeah. Good question, Terry.
Great, thank you.
All right. We'll see you in St. Louis.
Time to wrap it up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you guys. Well, thank you for being on the call with us. Enjoy your evening. And some of us are hopping off to get on our fast track calls. And thank you so much, Chris, for being our guest speaker. And this is going to go far and wide.
Thank you.
Good night.
Love you.
Thank you. Woo-hoo.
Bye. Woo!
Good night.